All right, can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. So I'll say everything I just said while my mic was muted. All right, so welcome everyone to our demo. We have been mostly working on bug fixes for the last couple of months, but in between the bug fixes, some new feature came up. This is probably going to be a very short demo, but regardless, just be able to show you what's going on, some new work and things like that. So with that, thank you, and let's have Tomasz.
Yes, hello everybody. I hope you can hear me. As Ohad has said in the introduction, this demo will be quite short. This sprint I worked on adding CLI support for managing roles, filters, and user groups. So I would like to demonstrate it to you. There's a new command, hammer role, as a top command for managing role. It encapsulates all the usual subcommands. I will list some roles to have a look what's on the machine. You can see 8 standard roles that are installed by default and 3 that I created. There is. Can you see my terminal, guys?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so it was false alarm. Sorry. Okay, let's go on. There's a command for creating roles, and I would like to show you this this use case. It takes just name, and when the role is created, you want to assign it some filters, similarly to user interface. I can demonstrate you one command for listing filters on existing roles, which is hammer role. And it takes name role, and it will list you all the roles that are all the filters that are already assigned. Output is wider than my terminal. Sorry. Okay, so now let's add some more filters. Command is hammer filter create as usually, and it takes all the parameters as in user interface. There's permission IDs, the role the filter should be assigned to, and a specification of scope search. Now, to make it easier to select from permissions in the CLI, there is a command hammer filter and it will list all the permissions that are available from Foreman core and the plugins. You can see name of the permission, resource it comes from, and its ID. There's quite a lot of them, so this command enables filtering by resource type. And there's dash resource type for that, and complementary there's hammer filter available resources. So I can filter it just for architecture, and you can see there is view created in and destroy permissions. So now let's create some filter. Role test permission IDs, all for the architectures, and one to limit it to just one architecture. It's been created. So now let's check it's correct. Here we go. Created. As a part of this sprint, I also added commands for assigning roles to users. There's traditional couple add role and remove role. And both take typical parameters: ID login, name of the role, and the role ID. I also support for user groups. We were missing the command user groups at all in Hammer before. So I added Hammer user group. We can list them. I would do test groups here, and it's also possible to add roles to user groups. You can assign or associate users and another user groups. So the functionality should be complete. And last thing I will show is just about user groups. Yeah, that's it. Some assigned users, user groups, assigned roles, and that's all. So now it's time for questions.
So there was a question on the channel from Daniel asking where can he see the role/permissions in Hammer. I'm not sure if that was already answered.
This should be covered by command user. Not sure whether the output is complete, but you should. Yeah, it's login. Sorry. You see all the assigned roles for users. Does it answer your question?
I would assume so. All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much. That looked good. All right. So next one is Joseph. Joseph, go ahead.
Okay. People see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to be showing some UI changes. We're looking at the new the form for a new subnet, and you notice here, if you can see my mouse, you have an asterisk next to these three fields. name, network address, and network mask. These indicate that these are now required fields, so the user immediately has the indication of what's required. We have this optional here that probably can be removed at some point. Basically, this exists on every form. So here, name and URL. Everything else is not required. So it's actually very easy to implement. I'll just show you the code. Here's in our layout helper. We have basically this one-liner that says, is the field within these active model validations present validator? And then I just said, here's a required mark if the attribute is required. So very simple, also because we have the helpers for all the forms. It's on every form with very little code. So the only question now is, by the way, this is not merged currently, is will this asterisk be on the left side, will it be on the right side, will it be on the right side of the field, will it be red, will it be black, and we'll let the UI people decide on that. Like you saw in the code, it's a very small change, so it's very flexible. All right, so that's one change, is to show what is required. The next one you see here, you notice here it says no host groups and no environments. Previously, we didn't have this. We had it manually in a couple places, at least subnets and others, but right now it's within on the layout helpers as well, where whenever there's a drop-down list that's blank, it will show right here, no media, no p tables. And what this means is there's no host groups in this location, of course. If we go to a different location, there will be. So do you remember we now know what's required and what's not by the simple helper of is required? So I said, okay, if there's options and it's required, then I want to put select environment or select the object of which we're on. If it's not required, like host group, I don't put select host group because it's not necessary. So there's a difference there, how we utilize the original is required. And then the third change is if there's only one option and it's required, then automatically selected. This was the original bug that Ori found, or suggesting that she has not necessarily a bug when we were going over the initial demo for her. Basically, she said, why do you need to select it if there's only one option? So this is the whole reason why I went to the is required and then dealing with what is the name of the blank. So how would we do that? So let's see, we have select domain, doesn't really matter, and here. Okay, so now I select an architecture. I select a operating system, and notice what will happen with media and partition table. So I select CentOS 6.3, and automatically these are selected because there's only one option. If it was two options or three options or four, obviously then it would say select media, select partition table. Because there's only one option, it's easier for the user if it's automatically selected. So to review, those are the three new UI enhancements that are not yet merged. One, the asterisks here. Two, the no host groups or no environments or no whatever the attribute is. And then if there are, to select here if it's required. And so that's it. Any questions?
So just one clarification from my side. This is not yet committed, right? This is
Yes.
an improvement suggestion.
Right, it's not merged.
All right, so it's also open for feedback if anyone has any improvements, suggestions, etc. All right, wonderful.
So I'm going to now change my branch to Ori's branch, and then show, whoops. Hold on 1 second.
So just a quick introduction. Ori is a new member of our team, and this is her first assignment, so kudos for her demoing it already. Let's go. Good luck.
One. 1 second. Okay. Great. So now it should work. Okay. Okay. You're on. They can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Well, Google doesn't think I'm a human being, so I'm using Joseph's computer instead. There was a bug that when you created a new LDAP source, there was a checkbox for TLS, and the bug was that the checkbox was wrong. It should be LDAP S, and also it only works on a different port. So now when you select the checkbox, if the port is the default port, which is 389, then it changes to the port that is consistent with LDAP S and changes back if you never change it. If you do change it, it stays on whatever port you wanted, and that's it.
Right, wonderful. Any questions? All right, so that concludes a very, very short demo. We appreciate the time used, your attention, and we hope that next time we'll have a much more longer and full demo. So thanks everyone for your attention, and see you next time. Bye-bye.